Live on the Spartan Sports Network, it's Wyomissing Boys Basketball. Brought to you by the new Birdie's Inn, 160 Old Friedensburg Road at 5 Points in Exeter, the home of the best burgers and burgers. Mortgage America, big enough to provide the best rates, small enough to provide personal service. And Goosehead Insurance, the Coley Insurance Group, the power of choice. Now to the Spartan Sports Network broadcast booth. Here's your announcer, Ryan Lineweaver.
Welcome into Wyomissing, Pennsylvania. Where in just a few short moments, we will have those Spartans from Wyo taking on the Conrad Weiser Scouts in a game that, as I was talking to our producer earlier, honestly don't quite know what to expect out of this one because we don't know quite what to expect out of Conrad Weiser, to be quite frankly, and we'll go into that here in the pregame. For your Wyo boys, they just snapped a 4-game winning streak, which you heard right here on the Spartan Sports Network. As a friendly reminder, if you're tuning in and you haven't done so already, click the subscribe button. That way you are notified every single time that we have a game. But they just snapped a 4-game losing streak that started back on the 22nd against Eastern New York in a game that we unfortunately also covered. Somehow we were on the losing end of a couple of broadcasts before finally this past week Brandywine Heights, that was an interesting game as well. Brandywine coming in, doing well for themselves in Berks 3, actually held a lead here against Wyo. They came all the way back. Wyo came out storming. They had a 3-point lead at the after the first quarter, trailed by 5 then started nipping it away. Wyo, I believe, had a lead as large as 8 in that second quarter. I believe it was 27-19. If I could go back through my score sheets, I know that I wrote it down somewhere at the bottom, but I believe it was 27-19, and it was a 13-0 run that ended up putting Brandywine Heights on top there for a good long while before the Spartans clawed it all back and ended up coming away with a 63-53 victory over the Bullets. Outscored the Bullets by 11 there in the fourth quarter, held them to just 6 points. One of the things that I thought was really super intriguing, Brandywine Heights just 16 points there in the second half as compared to 37 in the first. They were actually outscored by Wyo in just the fourth quarter alone there in the second half, and that's where that massive swing ended up coming from. Dylan Latourell led the way with 5 3-pointers for the Spartans, 17 points for him. Berkeley Ziegler had a big first quarter in that one, 10 points in the first off the bench, so he was huge for the Spartans as they ended up getting some contributions from Ark Willis, from Eisenhower, from Moyer, and their leading scorer, Danny Fleischhood. Not his best contest, finishing with just 3 points, but everyone else picking up that slack in that 63-53 victory against Brandywine Heights. This is one of the final games for the Spartans as they play tomorrow at home against Fleetwood in a game that we will not be bringing you on the Spartan Sports Network. We only got so many days in a week and so many hands to go around here. So unfortunately we will not have that, but we will have a girls game on Wednesday for you to tune into coming up in just a bit. But this final game against Conrad Weiser, when we talk about not being able to quite discertain who Conrad Weiser is or what they're able to do, it quite frankly comes down to their record and their schedule. As they won their first 3 games, they beat Boyertown by 31, they beat Elko by 13, they beat Garden Spot by 6. And then comes what can only be described as the most even way of distributing wins and losses across a schedule that I've ever seen in my life, I think. Because, look, they have a winning record. They're 11-9. But after those first 3 games, throw everything out the window. Lose 1 to Antietam, win 1 against Boone. Lose 1 to Cedar Crest, win 1 against Ole Valley. Lose 1 to Muhlenberg, win against Pottsville. Lose to Exeter and Wilson, win against Hamburg and Twin Valley. Lose 2 to Reading and Berks Catholic, win 2 against Boone and Tulpe. Lose against Exeter, win against Twin Valley, loss against Governor Mifflin. So before that Mifflin game, they were all square, like across the board, 50-50 wins, losses across their schedule, never too high, never too low. If you're looking at this, you can say, well, maybe they're due here at Wyo. And, we'll see. Their last game, it was really nip and tuck. They ended up losing at Governor Mifflin, part of a 5-game road traveling course here that they have to finish up the season. That started at Exeter, Twin Valley, Mifflin, Wyo, and then at Fleetwood in 2 days, as Fleetwood also goes back-to-back against Wyomissing and against Conrad Weiser. But that one, a 62-60 final score, as Weiser trailed by 4, just weren't quite able to overcome. They really struggled in that first half. Just 21 points in the first. They scored 25 then in the third, but their defense wasn't up to the task either, as Governor Mifflin ended up pouring in 22 of their own in the stanza, able to hold court there. They improved to 14-6, 7-4 in Berks 1. The Scouts dropping to 4-7 in Berks 2, 11-9 overall. They were led by Brady McKee, who had 15, 4 of which coming from the land of plenty. Same with Donovan Gingrich. He has 14 points, 4 of which came from beyond the arc, and then Gavin Rapp also with 14 for the Scouts. We will take a quick break here for the national anthem, and when we return, waiting for Get on the Flag, we'll have Spartans against Scouts right here on the Spartan Sports Network. Back in right before first half action here at a new gym in Wyo. But taking a peek at Conrad Weiser again. Never quite know what to expect out of this Scouts team, but they one thing that they will do is shoot the three. They make just over 5.5 3-pointers per game, right at 5.6, 16 2-pointers made from the floor, averaging about 58 points per game. Wyo, on the other hand, averaging about 3 points more than that. They make about 1.5 more 3-pointers as well compared to the Scouts, but the Scouts with a slight edge in buckets made from inside the arc. And we're underway here as the Scouts win the opening tip. Stolen away by Berkey Ziegler. Let me tell you, coming off the bench last game, had 10 points, earning his spot in the starting lineup here this evening. Luttrell will take it underneath. As we're introduced to the Wyo starting lineup here. Three on the way from Ziegler, off the mark. But the starting 5 for Wyo is as follows: Fleischhood, Arguelles, Luttrell, Rivera, and Ziegler. As dipping in, getting two that time was Evan Miller. Miller averaging 6.4 per game. He's their quasi-forward/center. And he's not the tallest person on the team either. He's 6'1". They still have him listed that way. Driving in, Arguelles dropping it off on the doorstep for Fleischhood. Fleischhood rejected by the side of the rim. Ball still loose on the floor. Luttrell not quite going after that one. Instead, it'll be the Scouts looking to move it down the court. That one poked up into the air, stolen away. Arguelles ahead to Fleischhood. Tries a finish, looking for contact, not finding any of the above. A three at the other end. Donovan Gingrich dropping it in. Gingrich is the Scouts' leading scorer, 16.5 points per game, averaging just under 2.5 threes per contest as well. Arguillas, big hop step into the lane, puts up the floater, which will drop. And we're off to the races here with the Spartans. Now look at that, all the way down at the other end. Nice defense that time by Rivera, affecting the shot of Rapp. Gavin Rapp, their second leading scorer with 13, and Scouts will turn the ball over. Or sorry, the Spartans will turn the ball over here. Schweitzer will bring the ball up the court. Scouts rolling with Schweitzer, Gingrich, McKee, Rapp, and Miller. And there's McKee opening up his scoring account this evening. 7-2 Scouts in the early going. Again, never quite sure what Scouts team you're going to face. As Fleischhood double team, loses it off of him. It's touched by the Scouts. What an effort that time by Schweitzer. Diving on the ground, flips it to McKee, and McKee in transition is able to finish. It's 9-2 in favor of the visitors. Going with the Coach K approach, letting them work through adversity. There's Conlon Crick, Wyo's head coach. Wireless into La Terrell, who tries a little scoop shot in the lane. Unfinished business for him. Deep three that time will come up short by McKee. Or La Terrell the board. Driving, kicking. Rivera now in amongst the trees, drawing contact. Nothing called there. Miller arms straight up, but Rivera still able to finish. It's a 9-4, just 5-point disadvantage now for the Spartans. That time faking the pick and roll. Nice block by La Terrell. Needs a second one. Won't get it, but affected the shot. Ziegler ends up tracking down the board, and we're off to the races again. La Terrell this time. Thinking three from the top of the key. That touched every part of the rim and refused to drop. Ooh, and that time, that's that pound dribble drill that I teach my first and second graders, to keep your hand over the ball at all times, even when it's up by your head. That one scooted away. Arguillas not quite ready for that. Ends up punching it out of bounds. Another three. That one in and out as well. Loose ball will belong to the Spartans as it goes over the end line. Substitution for Weiser. Joshua Plummer coming into the contest. Plummer giving some size down there at 6'4". Turnaround jumper by Fleischhood in the paint. Not a bad idea to get him up and rolling, unlike last game. Once again, doubling the ball handler. Wide open, Plummer underneath, hooping the harm. Just aggressively going after that ball handler off the ball screen, trying to double up, and we'll see if Wyo continues to go down that path. Some excellent passing that time by the Scouts. Plummer's a 56% free throw shooter. And converts the three-point play. Scouts now doubling up. La Terrell also losing the handle that time, has to cough it up. Arguillas, no-go that time. Rivera has his hands on it, finally gets punched up into the air. It's taken in by Rapp. And McKee We'll kickstart the half-court offense. I don't know if that ball is slippery or what. Need some stick 'em on that thing. That time the double team leading to a wide open three. Fleischhood skies for the board. Arguelles. That one didn't have enough sauce on it. It's picked off. Back in transition. Denied by the underside of the rim was Gingrich. But Rapp won't be denied. Schweitzer now the only scout not in the scoring column who started this contest. Now 14-6. Looks like we have a couple of subs just about upcoming here for the Spartans as they look for a jolt of energy. It'll be Max Tipton looking to throw in some size. No good by Fleischhood, and we're going to get a foul on Ziegler. Tipton will enter. Eisenhower will enter. Couple of subs for Weiser as well. He's dipping in from the left elbow. That one won't go, and we're going to have an offensive foul. Or a loose ball foul, I should say, on Plummer. Going through the back that time. Looks like Xavier Negron in for the Scouts. We've now gone to a 2-3 zone after that round of subs. A three by La Terrell. That one short. Tipton trying to poke at it. La Terrell finally getting on the floor. And we're going to have a timeout called by the Scouts head coach, Joey Negron. It'll be a 30-second variety, so we'll stay here. So this is the Scouts who we now get to see here for the first quarter. Like I said, never know what you're going to get, as far as Gump would say. Fleischhood, Arguelles, and Rivera, the only three in the scoring column for the Spartans, both with 2 points apiece. Meanwhile, scoring aplenty for the Scouts, Plummer, McKee, Rapp, Miller, and Gingrich on the scoring column. Like I said, Schweitzer, the only starter to not register a point so far. It is just the first quarter. Looks like Alex Malone also into the game for the Scouts. Around thinking three. Now we'll cough it up. Looking down on the low block, dribbling baseline. What a pass. James Arnold on the board now, and that was a heck of a pass that time. Somehow that squirted in between two defenders. And I don't know how he managed that. A three in and out by Eisenhower. 28 seconds left here in the first. The Scouts, with a 10-point advantage, will likely take their time and hold for one. Breaking down Arguelles. He doesn't want any of that. The Scouts clearly just draining that clock. Would have been a wide open layup for McKee. Foregoes it. And we're going to have a foul called on McKee. Offensive variety. That'll be his second. .7. Now 3 seconds. Ziegler needs to make it happen. Tipton tossing up a three. And that'll do it for the first quarter. A forgettable one at that for the Spartans. And they'll look to turn that around when we return right here on the Spartan Sports Network.
The new Birdie's Inn is Exeter's family spot with great food and beverages and activities for all ages. There's a full selection of beverages to go with your meal or while you watch a game on one of the 35 TVs. For the kids, there's a family game area, as well as darts and a pool table. You can eat in the indoor dining room or out on the spacious heated deck. The new Birdie's Inn at 160 Old Friedensburg Road at 5 Points in Exeter. Proud sponsors of Berks County High School athletics.
At Birdie's Inn we meet again.
Spartans coming out cold in the first quarter against Conrad Weiser, the road team ahead by 10 after 1. Eerily similar to beginning of that Eastern York game, at least from the Spartan perspective. At that point in time, they were 12-4, 7-0 in Berks 3 playing Eastern York, only scoring 6 points. They actually had the lead after the first quarter, scoring 6. But then they also scored 4 in the third, 7 in the fourth. And as you can ascertain here, that was not nearly enough to take down the Golden Knights, as we're going to have a foul here on Weiser. It'll be on Malone, his first. Malone has played in 18 games so far, averaging almost a point and a half. Ziegler, Tipton, little dribble handoff. Now trying to screen, and not an awful lot going on there as Arguelles finally able to make something happen there. He has 4. The lead trimmed to 8. Once again, doubling up a wide open 3. Not here to criticize or judge, but well, I definitely won't judge that. Eisenhower a 3. But maybe we shouldn't be doubling up the ball handler when the other person is Donovan Gingrich. Tipton didn't realize that was scooting past him. Nice job closing out on the three-point shooter. Instead dipping in and getting 2. Will be Malone. We're going to have a foul here on the floor. It's going to be against the Scouts. Lotterell will take it underneath. Both of these teams well positioned for District 3 playoff action, which of course will be in a few weeks. Have to play BCI AA's first, as Schweitzer will check back in. I guess it is Schweitzer because there's no CH in there. I think I just added for Dutchy effect. Tipped it into the corner. Eisenhower thinking 3. Man, rims be acting weird tonight on Wyo. That one also in and out. Lying up a 3 is Gingrich. That one off the mark. Clotterell will sky for the board. No fast break opportunities welcome here as Arguelles will now drop it off on the doorstep and says, "How dare you?" Ziegler, his first bucket. He's like, "Oh, you don't think there's anything there off that fast break? Watch this." 21-13 now with 6 left to play in the second. Gingrich a little stutter step, looking to make some room. And we're going to have a travel called on the Scouts. Too many steps that time for Malone. Plummer will take a seat. Some size exiting the court. But going back to those District 3 playoff rankings, Wyo right now pretty much stuck in third. They have Big Spring right behind them, Susquehanna Township nipping at their heels, but nobody in terrific danger of knocking them off. And since Weiser is a 5A opponent, not holding my breath for a loss here, but if it would be a Spartan loss, it would be less detrimental to them than losing to someone their own size. So the opposite could be true for Conrad Weiser, though. Losing to a 4A school is Tipton. Ended up losing his pivot foot. No travel called, thankfully. Everyone kind of trapped over in that corner. Arguelles going in a 1-on-4 almost with the scoop, and instead it's Ziegler with the putback. He's just been positioned on that low block waiting for his opportunity. And he finds it on the second chance. Lead trimmed to 6 with 4:50 left here in the first half of action. Nice job passing there by the Scouts. Arnold, another one. He has 4. Driving in, Arguelles gets past his man. Malone was hoping for help. None received. Arguelles now with 6. That's where the lead currently stands for the Scouts as well. And losing his pivot foot. I don't think he was looking for anything there. What in the world? Malone just chucks it up with the left hand and it drops. That kind of night for the Scouts so far. Looking to go down low. Big boy basketball. Max tipped in. Not getting that soft touch he needed. And that has to be a double dribble, and it's not. You can't pass to yourself, and instead it's a 3 at the other end. If that wasn't a travel or a double dribble, I don't know what was. Sorry we don't have the instant replay up and kicking, but I thought that was pretty egregious. La Terrell looking to answer and does, so no harm, no foul that time around. Fleischhood will re-enter, as will Rivera here at the break. Weiser will utilize their second timeout of the contest, and it is a full one, so we will take a timeout ourselves. Weiser up by 8 when we return here on the Spartan Sports Network.
Discover the power of choice with Goosehead Insurance, the Coley Insurance Group. Coley Insurance Group is a fully independent insurance agency here to put you first. With access to 30-plus top-rated insurance carriers, they ensure you get the best coverage at the best price. Whether it's auto, home, or life insurance, they've got you covered. At Goosehead Insurance, the power of choice is always yours. Call Goosehead Insurance agent Brad Coley today at 484-838-6088.
.327 left in the second quarter of this one. Spartans trailing by 8. Will be Scouts basketball here. The mulleted Malone will skip the ball up the court here. We'll say, some luscious locks on that kid. If mullets were in style, I probably would have rocked one back in high school. Arguelles at the other end. That right-handed floater from the middle of the paint will drop. He has 8 for the Spartans. Close that gap back to 6. This time driving in, not going to get it. Plummer the board. Plummer is stripped. Arguelles going in with the left hand this time. Somebody might want to stop that. It's looking like third-grade basketball for me. Just stop the layup line. A 3 by Gingrich. That's his 4th. Not just 4th bucket, his 4th three-pointer here in the first 14 minutes. A 3 by Arguelles. That one well off the mark. Clangs off the backboard and nothing else. Gingrich looking to get 2 more, and we'll have a jump ball here between the Spartans and the Scouts. Nice job by Rivera tying up Plummer. Scouts basketball as Rapp re-enters. 2 points so far. A three by Gingrich. That one grazes the bottom of the net and nothing else. Weiler looking down low. Reverse layup. Not going to get it done by Ziegler. Rivera going after it. Finally picked up by Fleischhood. Fleischhood thinking three. Danny Fleischhood, his first triple of the evening, the third for the Spartans thus far, and that lead down to 4. Finally picking up the pace here are the Spartans as Rivera gets stuck up in the air for seemingly forever, lands on the back of Miller. I think Miller thought the foul was on him for a hot second. No, it's on Rivera. Spartans putting in Moyer for his first minutes. Rapp with his second bucket, give him 4. 60 seconds left here in the first half. Spartans looking to do some damage. That one, once again, it's talking about hanging up forever. A little short by Eisenhower. A lot of arch on that one. Looking to take Fleischhood to the cleaners. And then a foul on top of it there for Rapp. So insult to injury real quick. 43 and a half left. The Spartans have been in worse positions so far this season. One of the other odd wrinkles for Conrad Weiser, by the way, the 13 seed in 5A, where they take 16 to districts. One of their other interesting wrinkles, if you look at their schedule, is a 3 that time by Ziegler, not going to get it done. Moyer the board. Moyer off the backboard, and we're going to have a travel called on Ziegler as he tries to catch his balance, and his pivot foot ends up hopping up and down on it a bit. One of the other weird things about the Scouts is they play better away from home. Usually not the case. They are 7-4 away from home, just 4-5. Imagine having a losing record at home as an 11-9 team. And that's the kind of year that it's been for the Scouts. As Schweitzer will get on the board here at the end, finally ending his scoreless drought. And unfortunately for the Scouts, that turn of events, a 4-point swing. Almost a 5-point swing off the 3. Really a 4-point swing there. Turns into the Scouts leading by 8 at the break. 35-27 your score after 16 minutes of play. We will pay some love to sponsors, and when we return, we'll recap the first half and take a peek forward. When we return right here on the the Scouts. Good Lord. Nope, try that again. While I still have you here, click subscribe because I've made you hang on a little bit longer. So now that I have your attention, just click the button already during halftime. So we'll take a break and be right back right here on the Spartan Sports Network.
Mortgage America is Berks County's premier local mortgage lender. Why choose Mortgage America? They're a fully licensed regional mortgage banker, not just a broker. They service their own loans and offer a full menu of mortgage programs. Their turnaround times and service are unmatched in the industry, big enough to provide the best rates, yet small enough to provide personal service. Local loans for local homes. Contact Chris 9 at Mortgage America today at 610-376-1755. This week's Iron Valley Real Estate Showcase of Homes. 212 West Greenwich Street. Welcome to this charming single-family home located in the heart of Reading. This spacious 7-bed, 2-bath home offers an updated kitchen, hardwood floors, and fresh paint in more than 2,100 square feet. 322 Miller Street in Reading. This cozy 3-bed, 1-bath home offers a fantastic opportunity for homeowners or investors looking for potential. Don't miss the opportunity to make these charming homes your own. Schedule a viewing today by calling Iron Valley at 484-450-8771. Iron Valley Real Estate. Make your move. You're watching the Spartan Sports Network on Jerry Gelliff Media. Discover the power of choice with Goosehead Insurance, the Coley Insurance Group. Coley Insurance Group is a fully independent insurance agency here to put you first. With access to 30-plus top-rated insurance carriers, they ensure you get the best coverage at the best price. Whether it's auto, home, or life insurance, they've got you covered. At Goosehead Insurance, the power of choice is always yours. Call Goosehead Insurance agent Brad Coley today at 484-838-6088. The new Birdie's Inn is Exeter's family spot with great food and beverages and activities for all ages. There's a full selection of beverages to go with your meal or while you watch a game on one of the 35 TVs. For the kids, there's a family game area, as well as darts and a pool table. You can eat in the indoor dining room or out on the spacious heated deck. The new Birdie's Inn at 160 Old Friedensburg Road at 5 Points in Exeter. Proud sponsors of Berks County High School Athletics.
At Birdie's Inn we meet again.
35-27. Scouts on top. Much better second quarter for the Spartans. Just 6 points in the first. 21 in the second. So far, those 21 points coming up big, mostly due to Arguelles. He ended up with 8 in the second, mostly just him shooting layups. And he was able to get around his defenders, able to make some space where he didn't have any. 10 points for him, leading the way for the Spartans. Fleischer with 5, Ziegler with 4, Eisenhower and Latourell both with 3 off triples, and Rivera with 2. Meanwhile, the Scouts, led by Donovan Gingrich, he has 12, all coming from beyond the arc. So I'm sure the Spartans making that a key point to focus in on during their halftime discussions. And we're off and running here. Spartans could be in worse positions. Latourell, a quick 3 right off the start. Won't drop for him. Taking a peek at some of the other games on the docket for this evening as Gingrich misses from the near corner here. Far corner 3, this time by Latourell, rejected by the underside. Skying him was Latourell. Now Rivera having to do some damage. Enough defensive work done that time, and Gingrich looking for his first bucket inside the arc and finds it. 14 now for the leading scorer for the Scouts. Their lead back up to 10. Now just taking a peek around, and we can go to Berks County instead. All leagues. There we go. We had Salcon Valley taking on Kutztown Girls. Arguelles, another 2 points for him. He has a dozen. Not quite half of the Spartan points this evening. Dipping in, getting 2 more that time as Miller. But also in girls action, Twin Valley taking on Cocalico. Mifflin against Reading. That's probably the best girls game of the night. You have Exeter against Conrad Weiser as well in Berks 2 action. So that one, Scouts, a little errant pass that time. Hamburg taking on Schuylkill Valley. Tulpe taking on Ole Valley. Brandywine Heights on the road playing Antietam. While girls already on the road taking on Fleetwood. Wilson and Muhlenberg, Berks Catholic, Daniel Boone. That's how the girls round out their schedule. For the boys, you also have Kutztown taking on Pequot Valley. As that one, Latourell unable to finish, but too strong that time. And yeah, that's the only other boys game we got going on. Mondays are not for the boys, as a 3 won't go for McKee. Ziegler taken down, no foul called that time. Spartans retain possession. Arguelles also gets hit there, no call. Fleisch had absolutely nowhere to go. Rivera a 3. They'll luck out. It'll stay with the Spartans. If you take a peek at Saturday's game, all final scores here. We can mostly focus in on the boys. Exeter dispatched Manheim Township 66-54. Arguelles blocked by the padding under the rim. Rivera trying to clean up after him. And look, it's been a really clean contest so far. This will be the first trip for either side going to the line. For 2, I should add. Plummer got hacked, completed a 3-point play. but nobody else has gone to the free throw line at all for either side this evening. And it shows with the rest there as Rivera misses the first. Also in boys action, Lancaster Catholic picking up their second win of the year, defeating Ole Valley 67-59. It's Rivera, 1 of 2 at the stripe. He now has 3. Salcon Valley beating Antietam 57-47. Kutztown over Palisades 55-50. Quakertown Community over Fleetwood 51-37. Pottsgrove over Schuylkill Valley 76-38. Boy, that was close. Sorry about your Schuylkill Valley Panthers here, Chris. That one won't drop for the Scouts. Up ahead to La Terrell. Time to think, a 3. Six for him. And the lead's back down to 6. Driving in. No foul. Rivera thought he got hit in the face. Rapp thought he was fouled by Rivera. Makes the basket anyway. And also a final in boys action, Muhlenberg over Pottstown 67-52 in a game that we had on the Mule Sports Network. Game that I helped cover on the Mule Sports Network. Fleischhood stops and pops. Got a lady out here in the crowd saying that he's shooting too far away. Don't disagree for that type of shot. Scouts, nope on the first. Gingrich steps in. Too strong on the second. Another offensive board. Eric Weiler, I'm surprised that he hasn't gotten called for anything yet here. He's able to get the ball on the floor, and now he's going to be called for the personal. Man, all that work trying to come up with a steal, and all he's going to get isn't off of the steal attempt. And it's actually going to be on Rivera. That'll be his third. It wasn't on the steal attempt. It was actually after the ball was tipped away and it was loose. So, yeah, the loose ball foul there by Rivera, who now has 3 and will need to pop a squad on the bench. Arguelles reading the passing lane that time. Man, he got checked that time by McKee. Can't tell if that's Weiser or Wyo kids over there on that side, but pretty sure it's Weiser. As Fleischhood comes up with the strip. Arguelles in transition. Won't get it. Hangs on the rim. He'll kick it out. La Torella 3. Off back iron. Ziegler the board. Down low to Fleischhood, who lays it in. Danny now has 7. Lead back to a half dozen. Scouts looking to get 2 more. Fleischhood just able to, yeah, sure, give him the offensive board. He tips it ahead to Arguelles. Goes in with the left, and once again, I will preach this every single game. Stop shooting layups with your right hand when you're on the left side of the basket, because that, my friend, is exactly what happens. Fleischhood underneath, sneaks in a pair. All right, I'm up off my soapbox now. Conrad Weiser will be taking a 30-second timeout, so we'll stay here. And you just can't guard the ball when you're going up with the right hand. You're leaving it completely exposed to get smacked down into the hardwood. You know, go up strong with the left. Protect with the right. Anyway, 41-37 as the Spartans trimming the halftime deficit right on in half. Take a peek at the scoreboard on the girls' side of things from Saturday. Central Bucks East ran Wilson right on out of the gym, 60-31. That one was well in hand by halftime. Central Bucks East leading by 16 at the break, by 25 after 3, and then both sides just pulled the plug on it. Wilson, 1 point in the fourth. Central Bucks East, 5 in the fourth. The running clock. Why not? Governor Mifflin took down Blue Mountain, doubled them up 57-28. That three by the Scouts, if they've gone cold here in the third, at least from beyond the arc. And Gingrich trips himself up going after that one. Kutztown over Palisades 36-30. Weiser girls over Brandywine Heights 48-18. Methacton over Fleetwood 61-23. Boy, oh boy, Fleetwood. Boys and girls this year. Not a banner year for either program. Girls, Wyo beating Northeastern 44-33. That one, Northeastern put up 18 in the first. They were actually leading, and then Wyo took control immediately after that and cruised to the 11-point victory. That one's stolen by the Scouts back down at the other end. Miller gets two more. He has 6. Or sorry, it won't be McKee. It'll be, or it won't be Miller. It will be McKee. End result still the same. 6 points. Fleischhood, turn around from the elbow, gets it to go. That's the second time we've seen him hit that shot. The other one was at the other end here back in the first quarter. Nice weapon to keep in his arsenal. Looking down low, Moyer doing well. Ziegler with the swat. Second chance that time. Moyer finally coming down with the board, forcing Plummer into the miss. Arguelles drawing contact, and we'll go to the stripe. Man, if you're the Scouts and you're already in position, you got to fall over if there's contact drawn on you and you're on defense. If you're already in position, you already have your feet set, take the charge. At that time, just kind of pulled a little ole, ended up bumping him with the body. And 2 at the stripe for Arguelles. Hits the first. Wyo can split that lead in half once again here. A 50% free throw shooter through his first 20 games. Swishes the second. Big time free throws, trims the lead to just 2 for the Scouts. This third period blowing right by. Gingrich stepping in, gets 2. 16 for him. Leads back to 4. 1:05 left here in the third. Lottrell nowhere to go with it. Has it to cough it up. Ziegler thinking 3. Ziegler, he's been quiet after his first quarter explosion last game, but at 3 his first, he now has 7. And the lead just at 1. They've trimmed 7 points off of this Scout lead, holding the visitors to just 10 points here in the third quarter. An exciting basketball. If you've never witnessed this before, Arnold taking the air out of the basketball, drawing some boos from the students section. Listen, I once watched Braden Bohannon for Elko draw out the last 2 minutes of a quarter, just taking the air out of the basketball just like that. Riveting basketball if you've ever seen it. Arguelles gets the pick, and we'll see if they count it, and they will. Moyer at the other end, and the Spartans have taken the lead. The Spartans were shell-shocked coming out of this one. They were down by 10 after 1, by 8 after 2, and now lead by a point entering the fourth. We'll bring you the fourth quarter right after this on the Spartan Sports Network.
Mortgage America is Berks County's premier local mortgage lender. Why choose Mortgage America? They're a fully licensed regional mortgage banker, not just a broker. They service their own loans and offer a full menu of mortgage programs. Their turnaround times and service are unmatched in the industry, big enough to provide the best rates, yet small enough to provide personal service. Local loans for local homes. Contact Chris 9 at Mortgage America today at 610-376-1755.
Fourth quarter Just about underway here. I popped some Skittles, so I got some sugar flowing through my veins. Let's do this. 46-45, Spartans on top. They've clawed their way back from a 10-point deficit multiple times to take a 1-point lead. A lot of that Moyer coming in, and finally a three by McKee. McKee now with 9. That was the missing sauce for Conrad Weiser in the third quarter. No three-pointers. So if the Spartans had to do one thing coming out of the break, that was exactly it. It was stop giving up freebies from beyond the arc. Moyer pokes it away, and now he'll be called for the personal. Daniel Moyer, tons of tenacity, tons of energy. Playing out there with his hair on fire, and that's pretty much what the Spartans needed. They got Fleischhood draped on Gingrich. Gingrich driving in too strong. Ziegler ends up inadvertently giving up the board. Dribbling through is McKee. Down to Rapp on the low baseline. Rapp going up. Draws the foul. And gets it to drop. Plummer did it earlier in the first quarter. Rapp looking to do the same here with a three-point play. Just like that, the Scouts back on top here, 50-46. Won't be able to extend it from there. Wireless looking to Ziegler, and they're going to have to restart some things. Ziegler thinking three. That one off back iron as well, and Scouts unable to save it as Rapp dribbles it on the sideline right in front of the Spartan bench. Like I said, just 10 points in that stanza, 19 for the Spartans in the third. Beats the heck out of the 6 that they put up in the first as Fleischhood. Strong take that time by Danny. He now has 13. And we're going to have a foul called on Moyer. The Grammys were last night, not the Oscars, but I think a smidge of embellishment that time by Miller looking to draw the personal. May not seem like much in the short term, but in the long term, that is the third YO foul as they look down low. Swatted away by La Terrell. No. They were thinking three for a hot second there. La Terrell in the corner has to cough it up. Fleischhood driving, and they're going to call a foul. I think Rapp might have gotten him with the body, but other than that, he had all ball, and he spikes it back into the court. Looked like he was going up against Shaq, who just, palms the basketball and says, yeah, no. But hit him with the body. Fleischhood, his first trip to the stripe this evening. Hits the first. Fleischhood, an 83.3% free throw shooter. Hits both. Spartans knotting this one back up at 50. That one won't go. Second attempt by Rapp. Also too strong. Fleischhood the board. Moyer surveying. Has Gingrich on him. Making Ziegler drive that time. Nice defense by Miller trying to make Ziegler put the ball on the floor. Arguelles will be hacked on the baseline. First foul for the Scouts here in the fourth. Comes with 5:17 remaining. Well, we have ourselves a basketball game here. Live and in the flesh. Willis thinking about it. Nowhere to go. You have Moyer and Ziegler both kind of taking up space on that low block. If one of them drifted out a little bit, would have been better positioned, but instead Weil will take a timeout and draw something up here. Kind of a 30-second timeout taken by Wyo. Well, 50 apiece here. It's been an interesting contest. And again, coming in, you never quite know what you're going to get out of this Conrad Weiser team. You just never know. The Weiser team that we got this evening came out storming, hitting threes all over the place, especially in that second quarter. Gingrich had 12 from 4 threes as a little stack formation here from Wyo. And Arguelles that time telegraphing that pass to Fleischhood in the corner. Scouts thinking 3. It's Gingrich. Back come the Spartans. Ziegler a 3. Ziegler, his second triple, give him 10. The third starter in double figures. Joining Fleischhood and Arguelles, comes away with the strip that time. Second chance opportunity for the Scouts. Yeah, 3-second call would have been great there too. Can't just park your butt in the paint, especially on offense. Ziegler will be called for the personal that time. That's his third, team's 4th. Next one will send Weiser into the bonus for the remaining 4:32 of the quarter. So when we talk about small little ticky-tack fouls kind of getting in the way, that's exactly what I mean. Arguelles, his first bucket here in the 4th. Give him 16. Spartans on top by 3. Halfway gone here in the 4th. Gingrich, you know that he wants it. He's going to get almost triple teamed. Has to cough it up. Good defense that time by the Spartans. Runs right into Moyer, did McKee. Lives to tell the tale. Another 15 seconds draining off the clock. Gingrich a 3. Won't get that one. Lotterell the board. And stripped in the lane was Arguelles. Back the other way. They could take the lead again. And that one stuck. Jump ball belongs to Wyo. Well, that sucks. I don't think that thing had enough juice to get up and over, but it might have crawled in. If not for getting stuck. Them's the breaks. Stops the clock with 3:27 left in this one. Arguelles in no particular hurry. Crossing midcourt here. That one won't go. Good defense there by the Scouts. Moyer being tenacious. Well, just one more game to go before BCIAA's. Quarterfinals taking place on Monday the 10th. The semis on Wednesday the 12th, and then the championship on Friday. Ziegler, another 3. That time from the far corner. Near corner, far corner. Straight up assassin from those corners is Ziegler. He now has 13. The lead sits at 6 for the Spartans, their largest. Latourell got up off his feet, called for the personal. Malone will go to the stripe. Malone hits the first, despite this poor kid's best efforts up here next to me. I don't know if you could hear that on the broadcast. Miss it. Didn't work. Malone, a 50% free throw shooter, hits both. Weiser, down by 4, will take a timeout. We will do the same. 2:54 remaining here in this one. Spartans have clawed their way back and now hold a 4-point lead when we return here on the Spartan Sports Network.
Mortgage America is Berks County's premier local mortgage lender. Why choose Mortgage America? They're a fully licensed regional mortgage banker, not just a broker. They service their own loans and offer a full menu of mortgage programs. Their turnaround times and service are unmatched in the industry, big enough to provide the best rates, yet small enough to provide personal service. Local loans for local homes. Contact Chris 9 at Mortgage America today at 610-376-1755.
Some beautiful, soothing music that time. Hope it appeases the YouTube gods. Wyo basketball. It'll be Fleischhood underneath the Scouts' net. Scouts coming out in full court pressure, hence the timeout. Nice job that time by Malone getting a hand on it. Somehow him dashing through there and being the only one touching the basketball made him think that it might have gone off of Arguelles there. Surprisingly untrue. Now they'll back off. Just trying to hurry the inbounds. Fleischhood taking 2 steps, taking 3 steps. No call. Moyer will have to pick up the dribble into Arguelles. Moyer standing down on that left block. Got it and one. Oh, my. And they're going to call a personal on Gingrich for rolling into him after he made the basket. Wyo thrilled about it. Weiser, not so much. As Moyer, his second bucket, looking to make a 3-point play. And I think that we don't have a mop because of Gingrich rolling on the ground that time. They probably want to clean up a little bit. And I think there's some blood on Fleischhood's jersey, which is the issue here. And that's what the coaching staff was looking to do. Go get a wet nap or something and try to take care of a little bit of blood. Also got a second jersey out just in case. They would not let Fleischhood re-enter with that much blood on his jersey. No communicable diseases this time around. Moyer looking for the 3-point play. Off front iron, won't get it to go. The 6-point advantage now for the Spartans. That's where the Scouts lead held for the longest time, it felt like, was about a half dozen. That should have been a carry, too, by Malone. Gingrich a 3. Won't get it to go. Ziegler the board. Probably should have been another foul there by Miller. The fun world of high school basketball. Nice job by Arguelles. Finding Ziegler on the low block. It goes off the oven mitts and out. $1:54 left here. Malone wants nothing to do with it. He'll give it up to McKee. McKee has 11. Gingrich with it now has 16. Looking down low, and we're going to have an offensive foul called on Miller. Obviously, the Weiser coaching staff beside themselves again. Joey Negron over there on the sideline will give referee, I believe, Alex Velasquez an earful. I only know that because I went to school with Alex. Alvernia graduate. And Wyo taking a timeout. And it'll be a full one here. With $1:29 remaining. Holding court by 6 are the Spartans. Would be a big win if they can get this accomplished. And they have just, let's do math, 89 seconds left to do just that. So we'll take a quick break, and when we return, fourth quarter action right here on the Spartan Sports Network.
This week's Iron Valley Real Estate Showcase of Homes. 212 West Greenwich Street. Welcome to this charming single-family home located in the heart of Reading. This spacious 7-bed, 2-bath home offers an updated kitchen, hardwood floors, and fresh paint in more than 2,100 square feet. 322 Miller Street in Reading. This cozy 3-bed, 1-bath home offers a fantastic opportunity for homeowners or investors looking for potential. Don't miss the opportunity to make these charming homes your own. Schedule a viewing today by calling Iron Valley at 484-450-8771. Iron Valley Real Estate. Make your move.
Back in, and as Mark Zumoff would say, we're coming in for a landing. I think I do that every single time I come back with a late timeout in the fourth quarter. But it's so apropos. Miss Mark Zumoff on the mic. Kate Scott, not bad. No Mark Zumoff, though. Scouts coming out playing what my middle school coach would call helter-skelter. Moyer maybe coming away with a miss, and instead called for the personal as Ziegler's 3 from the far corner was off the mark. And this one will make everyone walk with $1:15 left. We got the bonus. Spartans have done a good job of being relatively hands-off over the last 3-4 minutes or so. They got themselves in early foul trouble. Had 4 on that scoreboard for a while. Now picking up their 5th. But on the bright side, Weiser also with 4 fouls. So the next one will send Wyo to the line. So that discrepancy that was once a major problem, now issues for both sides trying to put points on the board. 4-point lead for the Spartans. Looking to close this one out. Fleischhood looking for help, was stuck in the air, nowhere to go. Man, how are they able to save that? Arguelles that time jumping out, dropping it back into Moyer. Wyo will take a timeout. Was a heck of a job. Be a 30-second variety. So with this much time left, got to go for a steal off the inbounds. If not, yeah, you might want to think about fouling. Down by 4. Could be a long last minute or so of this contest, depending how things shake out. Arguelles has 16, Fleischhood 15, Ziegler 13 to lead the Spartans. Meanwhile, on the opposite side, Gingrich has 16. None here in the fourth, which has been a real big factor. Arguelles that time, Willie Mays catching that one in the backcourt. Gets past two defenders, able to keep his pivot foot. Heck of a job there by the young ball handler. Weiser finally needing the foul here. Stops the clock with 45.8, and they will stick Danny Fleischhood on the stripe. Probably not who you want on the line. At least not this year. It's the first. Because if you can believe the stats that are up here on PAD3hoops.com, Danny Fleischhood shot just 20% from the stripe last year in 22 games. Hits both. Big if true, Danny Fleischhood hitting a pair. Malone will take a seat. In comes Schweitzer. He's been largely absent from this contest. He scored a buzzer beater at the end of the second quarter. That's been about it. Schweitzer, turnaround jumper in the lane, off back iron and drops through. Why did I say any of that? Fleischhood fouled before they can get a 2-on-1 with Ziegler and Moyer. Fleischhood back to the stripe. Fleischhood now 4-4. Now leading all scorers with 17 after his last pair at the stripe. Make it 4-5. I'm going to stop doing that eventually. Eventually, I'm just going to stick my foot in my mouth like I usually do and just stop saying it. Fleischhood missing both. Fleischhood then called for the foul, going after the loose ball. Absolutely a foul, and it will send Conrad Weiser back to the line. Gingrich will land there for the first time all game long. Gingrich, a 47, or yeah, try that again. Dyslexia running amok here. 54.7% from the stripe, hits the first. Transposing those numbers around a bit. Closes the gap to 3. And 2. Not what you want to do if you're the Spartans. You want some time to drip off that clock. Moyer has it stolen away. Gingrich, the floater. Too short. Moyer, another board. And a foul called here. Moyer very lucky because he stepped on the baseline. And we're going to have 2 at the stripe. And Negron asking for some fairness on both sides. He's like, hey, he did that over here, got no call. We do it over here, and you call it. What's going on? Moyer missed his one attempt from the stripe. Hits the first. See, that's better. If I talk about their misses, they'll make it. Moyer missed the first one. He's 1 of 2 at the stripe. With a miss, he'll be 1 for 3 at the stripe. All right, didn't work. Try again next time. 63-60, 3-point lead. Scouts can tie. Negron, take a timeout. It'll come down to one last possession here for the Scouts. Basically, you're just saying, don't jump into anyone. May as well just stay here for a second. I think that we got through all our commercials. You're telling them, arms straight up. You do not leave your feet. You do not lean in. You can go to the edge of the three-point line. But you do not make contact. You do not do anything that could potentially put a 4-point play up on the scoreboard and leave you scrambling at the end of this game. Nobody wants that here. So that's probably exactly what Wyo is cooking up over there. You'll accept going to overtime. What you can't accept is allowing them to make a three and then potentially win it at the stripe. So I'm sure that they have their marching orders coming out of the timeout here, both sides. I would be shocked if it goes anywhere besides Gingrich, but they do have some other players who can hit threes. McKee has hit one today. Gingrich has 4. So I would not be terribly surprised if they try to get it into his hands. Ball's a side out here. So keep an eye on Donovan Gingrich down there. I'll pop it out. 15 seconds. And there he is. A wide open three. The Scouts coming out and just ripping off the Band-Aid. It's a very good idea to shoot with enough time to leave yourself if you miss. You get an offensive rebound, you still have some time to gather and don't have to just chuck something up. So a shot with about 8 seconds left. Gingrich with probably, 5-6 feet of distance between him and the closest defender. Just a wide open look. Yeah, sure, he's well beyond the arc, but let me tell you something. This ain't your granddad's high school basketball these days. These kids don't grow up watching Michael Jordan. These kids don't grow up watching Tim Duncan do, Mr. Fundamental type stuff. These kids grew up watching Steph Curry. They grew up watching LeBron. They grew up watching these guys shoot from freaking midcourt, shoot from the logo. You think that they don't practice that during practice at all? You think that they're not messing around? Like, I used to shoot half-court shots, but not in the same way that these kids do now. So they are no longer scared or confused about, a handful of feet beyond the three-point arc. That is all fair game in today's high school basketball, in today's NBA, college, whatever. The one bad thing here for the Scouts, though, is because they shot the ball with about half the time they had. Leaves Wyo a wide-open opportunity here with just under 9 seconds. Guaylas nearly has it poked away. He's driving in, loses the basketball. It'll belong to the Scouts with 3.5. Guaylas said, I can do this all by myself, and the Scouts said, no, you cannot. Good defense that time, keeping him from getting anywhere near the cup. Lost the handle. Now 3.5. They're going to chuck it all the way down there. It goes out of bounds. Who touched it last? It'll belong to the Spartans. They should put some time back up on that clock, by the way. There was 3.5. There's no way that a second and a half came back up. And now they have to figure out if somebody touched it. So they're trying to figure out if somebody touched it. If somebody touched it and it belongs to Wyo, then they get it all the way down here, and they're going to have to baseball pass that boy all the way down here. Now you have Arguelles and looks like Gingrich chirping at each other a bit here. You have Velasquez trying to separate them. They tap each other on the back, go their own separate ways. I swear to God, this was all the way down here, and I cannot tell if it was touched at all. I don't think that it was touched. I did not see the ball change course. It didn't slow up. It didn't go in a different direction after being tipped. If it was touched at all, it would have been grazed by somebody's freaking fingernail because that's how close it was. And this is a huge decision here by the refs. If it is not touched, it is an out underneath for the Spartans underneath their own basket. And again, they probably should put time up on the clock here, and I think that's what they're doing, because if it's not touched, it should stay at 3.5 seconds and not 2 seconds. That is some not home cooking with the scoreboard operating, I'll put it that way. And it does look like they're adding some time here. We'll see exactly how much. Negron trying to plead his case, not getting anywhere. He's beside himself. He'll go down to the water cooler. Still waiting for time to be put up. They have to clear it to zeros, apparently. 3.3. Which really only makes sense if it was touchdown here. It was 3.5 when they initially passed it, so a mystery, 0.2 of a second ticking off the clock on a ball that nobody touched. It can only start the clock if somebody touches it. All right, I'm done. 3.3. Looking down low for Moyer. Moyer unable to finish. Ball still loose in the air. Weiser will chuck it, and oh my God! You're not going to catch that likely on the replay here. Oh, no, he did. Whew! Off the backboard. Would have counted. It was in time. Well, like I said, never know quite what you're going to get out of these scouts, and tonight, you got the best version of them. You got the best version of Conrad Weiser. Said at the top of the broadcast, this Weiser team, man, is just so in and out. It's win one, lose one, win one. And if you think that I'm kidding, please look at their schedule. I am not making this up. That, yes, they won the first 3 games of the season, but since then they have a losing record by virtue of winning 1, losing 1, winning 1, losing 1, winning 2, losing 2, winning 2, losing 2. And that is the way that their entire season has gone. Now, they've played the big boys pretty tough. They lost by 10 to Berks Catholic. They lost by 4 to Reading. Reading is on a bit of a heater, so not the same team that they were to start off the year. Lost by only 2 to Exeter. By 6 to Cedar Crest. It's like their losses have largely been pretty close. Now, they lost to Exeter by 17 the last time they played. Wyo winning the tip here. Wireless, La Terrell, Ziegler, Moyer, and Danny Fleischhood with the ball now. 4 minutes up on the board here in OT. Fleischhood, turnaround jumper, not going to get that one to go. That's been tried and true a couple of times here this evening. Not that time around. Big Embiid-style pump fake, trying to throw it off a defender, not going to get there. La Terrell got smacked, and it's a foul on Miller. By the way, in OT, the fouls from the fourth quarter carrying over, so both teams remain in the bonus here for the extra stanza. That should make this remaining 3:28 just breeze on by. La Terrell with 6. He's hit a pair from beyond. Hits the first one at the stripe. La Terrell averaging just a shade under 12. Gets 1 of 2, and that should be a walk. Miller took the rebound and took 2 big ol' steps with it. Now the Wyo fans have woken up a little bit. That student section right in front of Miller, letting him hear it. 1 point advantage for the Spartans here. 3:20 left in OT. Happy to have you here. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't done so, click that subscribe button. No better time to bring it up in a broadcast. Not the most seamless transition, but there it is anyway. And that should be a foul. Yep, there you go. Rapp with his hands caught in the cookie jar. Wireless to the line for 2 more. Wireless, 1 of 2 at the stripe. I apologize. My pronunciation of his name has floated in and out this entire broadcast. Arguilas is probably how I should be pronouncing it all the time. Gets the first. A little friendly help from the rim. And then the backboard. Bangs in the second. 3 of 4 at the stripe here in the late goings is Arguelles. Did it again. And we're going to have a foul called here on Miller. For Miller, that's number 5. See you later. Oh, and they're trying to say that it wasn't a foul, but goodness gracious, if that wasn't a foul, I need to go get my eyes checked again. Chirp all you want, but it was 1,000% a foul. Sometimes I think we just argue to argue. Wireless back to the line again. Swishes the first. Second one upcoming. Another swish. 68-63. All 5 of the Spartans' points coming from the charity stripe. Missed by Gingrich. La Terrell unable to find Arguelles, who steps on the sideline. He was trying to force the issue. Threw a back shoulder pass to him. Ends up in the scorer's table. And if you're the Spartans, you can't be giving away opportunities. You got a good stop down here. You can drain more time off the clock. You're up by 5 here in the first OT. You can't turn the ball over in that fashion. And La Terrell knows that. Nice defense here. Making up for it. Nice closeout as well. Stopping, popping. Elbow jumper. Not going to get it done by McKee. And the Spartans can take their time, take a breath, up by 5. Under 2 to play here in the first OT. Hopefully the only OT. Ziegler being accosted way far away from the basket. La Terrell has it poked away by Gingrich. Gingrich going in against Ziegler, gets the drop. The first bucket for the Scouts here. Gingrich now with 23. Fleischhood called for the offensive foul. A charge on Gingrich. Gingrich is down. He's hurt. I bet he'll be just fine after he walks it off. Don't worry. And the offensive foul is just a turnover, so it'll just be another side out here for the Scouts. But again, now you're up by 3 with 1:28. And Gingrich, Butterfingers, probably should get a T for that. Won't. Uncharacteristic from Donovan Gingrich. A game-high 23 for him. Fleischhood into La Terrell. Finds Moyer. Moyer. One pump fake. Now we'll dump it out. Drain some more time off the clock. Up by 3. Yeah, and you're going to have to move here. They're coming out to guard you, so you can't just squat on that basketball. Fleischhood into the spin cycle to Moyer. Moyer gets it to drop. First bucket from the field here in overtime. Gingrich with a hand in his face. Won't go. Instead, they'll pass it around. McKee, a second chance. That one's short, too. La Terrell able to save it from going out. Into Arguelles. Arguelles fouled by McKee. And will be walking to the other side of the court with 44.8 left on the clock. Arguelles back to the stripe. Man, for a game that had nobody visit the foul stripe except all but once in the first half, and just twice in the third, we are spending a great deal of quality time down there here in the fourth quarter and overtime. Spartans up by 6. Make it 7. Free throw shooting can make or break teams. That one off the mark. Thankfully for the Spartans, it's held up. That one will be going off of Fleischhood. He goes around and says, "What?" And no, that's off you. Went right off his shoe. May not have felt it, but it most certainly went off his shoe. Scouts with the inbound. Malone back in. Malone going up against Moyer. Trying to find some space. Won't. Kicks it out of 3. Launched by Schweitzer. No good. Back to Gingrich, and Gingrich called for the travel. Wyo will take a timeout, as will we. 71-65 with a tick. Under 25 seconds left here in first OT. More to come when we return here on the Spartan Sports Network. Back in for the remaining 24.9 seconds. As the Spartans looking to close out a hard-fought victory here this evening on their home court. Ziegler will inbound. Finds Arguelles. And I don't know why they left him so wide open, and he's going back to the stripe. He's only one of their best free throw shooters here this evening and their primary ball handler. Why would you leave him unguarded? But I'm not a coach. Stops the clock with 23 seconds left. At least it was a quick foul. Super quiet here in the gym. It's the first. If I would have talked loud, I would have been the only one talking. Hush falling over the crowd here with 23 seconds left. Spartans now up by 7. Arguelles with 22. Gets the second. Ties a season high with 23, originally set all the way back early on in the season against Daniel Boone, and Scouts will turn it over here, and yeah, that's just about it. Scouts may play through this. They're still showing an awful lot of full court pressure here. We'll see if they end up fouling or not. Oh, they steal it. Malone ends up getting it. Malone will be fouled, and he'll go to the stripe with 14.3. The difference here has been Arguelles. He has 7 points here in overtime, 23 in the contest, tying his season and likely career high if I bump back here to last year. Oh, yeah, most certainly tying his career high. That one no good. Ziegler has it. Malone called for the personal. Ziegler will go to the stripe. Take the slow walk to the other end of the court with 9.8. Negron wants to argue that one too, I guess. Got a big old grin on his face being like, oh yeah, that was a foul? That was a foul? Yeah, it was. You're down by 7 with 9.8 left. And it was a foul. Ziegler to the stripe his first time there this evening. This is the first. Berkeley, a 60% free throw shooter. Swish is the second. It was 63 all as Gingrich swishes a three. They had some time tick off that clock after their shot, too. Makes it a 5-point game. We're still not quite done here. Gingrich, his 5th three-pointer. Now he leads all scorers with 26. Heck of an effort from the senior. And a multi-sport athlete, by the way. And also a 1,000-point scorer here in basketball. Yeah, Donovan Gingrich, class of 2025. Not too shabby. 2,300 career passing yards for him. Coming into this football season, as Weiser went undefeated in the regular season. And then they got spanked. Yeah, they ended up finding, as Philly would say, hang on, let me get the acronym correct so I don't curse on air, FAFO. And they ended up finding out against Bishop McDevitt and why they are perennially one of the top teams in the entire state of Pennsylvania. They get that one into La Terrell. 4 seconds left. Moyer will just hold up, and that will do it. 74-69, your final score. As they drop in 11 in the stanza and squeak past an upstart Conrad Weiser team who came in here all sorts of jacked up on Mountain Dew. They had a 10-point lead after one. But credit to the Spartans. They did not let this one get out of hand. They kept chipping away at it. They trailed by 8 at the break, by 1. They ended up leading by 1 going into the fourth. Tied at 63 and then 11-6 here in the final stanza, otherwise known as the first overtime, for the 74-69 final score. So we will take a quick break, tally everything up, and hopefully it won't take me too long. We'll get on out of here. But 5-point victory tonight for the Spartans. Big one for them, taking on a 5A opponent and living to tell the tale. So more to come when we return to wrap this one up on the Spartan Sports Network.
The new Birdie's Inn is Exeter's family spot with great food and beverages and activities for all ages. There's a full selection of beverages to go with your meal or while you watch a game on one of the 35 TVs. For the kids, there's a family game area, as well as darts and a pool table. You can eat in the indoor dining room or out on the spacious heated deck. The new Birdie's Inn at 160 Old Friedensburg Road at 5 Points in Exeter. Proud sponsors of Berks County High School athletics.
At Birdie's Inn we meet again.
Discover the power of choice with Goosehead Insurance, the Coley Insurance Group. Coley Insurance Group is a fully independent insurance agency here to put you first. With access to 30-plus top-rated insurance carriers, they ensure you get the best coverage at the best price. Whether it's auto, home, or life insurance, they've got you covered. At Goosehead Insurance, the power of choice is always yours. Call Goosehead Insurance agent Brad Coley today at 484-838-6088. Mortgage America is Berks County's premier local mortgage lender. Why choose Mortgage America? They're a fully licensed regional mortgage banker, not just a broker. They service their own loans and offer a full menu of mortgage programs. Their turnaround times and service are unmatched in the industry, big enough to provide the best rates, yet small enough to provide personal service. Local loans for local homes. Contact Chris 9 at Mortgage America today at 610-376-1755. This week's Iron Valley Real Estate Showcase of Homes. 212 West Greenwich Street. Welcome to this charming single-family home located in the heart of Reading. This spacious 7-bed, 2-bath home offers an updated kitchen, hardwood floors, and fresh paint in more than 2,100 square feet. 322 Miller Street in Reading. This cozy 3-bed, 1-bath home offers a fantastic opportunity for homeowners or investors looking for potential. Don't miss the opportunity to make these charming homes your own. Schedule a viewing today by calling Iron Valley at 484-450-8771. Iron Valley Real Estate. Make your move.
74-69, your final score. Wyo escaping against the upstart Conrad Weiser Scouts. Again, never knew quite what to expect out of the Scouts. You were kind of like, all right, well, they play these teams pretty close, even when they lose, and that was certainly the case. They played Wyo really tough, led by 10 after 1, but just wheels ended up falling off, especially in the second half. They were outscored by 9 in the third, including a buzzer beater by Moyer to take a 1-point lead going into the fourth. Both teams all square after 4 quarters of play, and then just pulling away here. Wyo, at this level, it can really go either way. You can either be really good at shooting free throws or really bad. And we've seen it both ways, especially at the high school level. And I hate to go back to previous games, and it wasn't even this year, but 2 years ago when we covered Berks Catholic, that was an issue when they went to the state final against Alden Reed. And or not state final, when they went to the state playoffs against Alden Reed, they had a lead going into the fourth quarter. Alden Reed ended up pulling away at the end, but a large part of that was just missing free throws down the stretch. They were unable to hit, unable to keep that lead at arm's length. But credit to the Spartans here. Completely different ball game, sure, but credit to the Spartans that they were able to convert, and a large part of that was Aguilas. He has 23 points, tying his career and season high. But even more importantly, 7 of 8 from the charity stripe in overtime really made the difference here. He scored 7 of Wyo's 11 points in the overtime stanza en route to his 23. Danny Fleischhood with 17, Berkeley Ziegler with 14 in a start for him. But really the turning point was head coach Crick deciding to put in Daniel Moyer. And I will say Daniel Moyer, 3.6 points per game, played in 13 contests so far, but he has earned his keep as an energy guy off that bench. And they didn't really play him an awful lot in the first half, put him out there in the second half, and magic started happening. Playing like his hair was on fire. He came down with a couple of crucial boards, came up with a big basket at the end of the third to give Wyo the lead. And they never, I hate to say that they never really looked back. It was tight throughout the entire rest of the way, but Daniel Moyer, heck of a game for him. He really, really did help turn the tide. And you say, how can somebody who only scored 7 points affect the game so much? Well, that's exactly how. He was able to do it on the defensive end. He was able to do it with hustle, grabbing some key rebounds, playing some excellent defense, swiping some steals, and then getting a few key buckets as well. So for my money, Daniel Moyer would be one of my players of the game, of course, right next to Arguilas. But a heck of a job here by the Spartans. Again, overcoming that adversity, overcoming a 10-point deficit in the first. They could have packed it up, folded it in, but they don't do that. They don't do that, especially here at home, where they have now improved to 7-2 when playing here at the friendly confines of New Gym. So they improved to 14-7 overall. Meanwhile, for Conrad Weiser, they will likely still be district playoff bound, by the way. Will not be going to BCIAAs, but still qualifying for districts as one of the Berks teams raring to go, one of the 16 teams. They were ranked 13th in 5A. I'm not sure if this really affects an awful lot. It could in the grand scheme of things, sure, maybe, that they lost to a 4A team. It certainly affects them more than if Wyo had lost this contest, but Weiser still pretty well stuck in as one of the low seeds sneaking into District 3 playoffs. So we'll see how their season ends up turning out, but they finish up against Fleetwood on Wednesday. And I guess I would be remiss if not telling everyone that, hey, Wyo playing Fleetwood tomorrow night. So everyone getting a bit of a back-to-back action except for Weiser. They get a bit of a break in between, but it will be their last contest as well. So good luck to them. We will not see them again, thankfully. Thankfully for the Spartans for sure. But who knows? They shoot like that. They play like that, especially first half. Conrad Weiser, they can keep pace with a lot of teams in District 3 5A. So we'll see how that all turns out for them. But as for the Wyo boys, again, they go on the road to Fleetwood in a game that should be very winnable. Be really great to end up on a 3-game winning streak going into the playoffs. And they are certainly well on their way. They play the 5-14 Fleetwood Tigers. Fleetwood does have 4 wins in Berks 3, so they're not quite slouches. Their non-league schedule was really interesting, and they really struggled in non-league games. They're currently sitting at 5-15. They played Quakertown Community and lost. You take a look at they lost by 15 to Schuylkill Haven. They lost by 22 to Octorara. Lost to 13 by Wilson area. Lost by 9 to Boyertown. By 19 to Schuylkill Valley. By 16 to Brandywine Heights. So, Fleetwood, not world beaters. They were a couple of years ago. Not so much now. 5-15 overall. One of the only teams in Berks 3, besides Schuylkill Valley, Wyo, Hamburg. They do not have the winning record. They are the only ones without. So a very winnable game tomorrow evening. Obviously, the OT doesn't help with some weary legs, so we'll see how they come out against the Tigers. But certainly a chance to win 3 straight going into BCIAAs, going into districts, and starting to get the bad taste out of their mouth from that 4-game losing streak that they just overcame. They kind of hit the skids here towards the end, but getting back on the right path, going into crunch time, going into the playoffs, certainly big here for the Spartans, and they look to do just that tomorrow evening. In a game that we will not be covering, but they will be at Fleetwood, about a 7:15 start time if you are making the trip out there to Fleetwood High for a PIAA boys basketball matchup. So we'll see how that ends up turning out for them. But we will be back on the air on Wednesday. It will be on the Exeter Sports Network. So if you are tuning in, you're not going to be tuning in here. Maybe Jerry will try to run concurrent streams, but I don't think so. It'll likely just be on the Exeter Sports Network, which you can find right here on the Jerry Gelliff stable of networks. Darren will have the call for that one as the Exeter Eagles hosting the Wyomissing Spartans on Wednesday evening. So be sure to tune in for that. And that's pretty much all I got right now. So exciting things ahead here for the Spartans as they keep pace in Berks 2 and in Berks 3, sorry, and look to continue that stretch going into playoff basketball, which is why we play this game. It's why we get to the end of the regular season. We play playoff basketball, and we are right on the cusp of that here for the Spartans. So looking forward to help bring that to you right here on the Spartan Sports Network. So, thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to Chris for producing. Thank you to Jerry for pulling this all together. And thank you to all of our viewers. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Otherwise, I will find you, and I will personally make you press that button with your thumb. That sounded really aggressive. Never mind. I'm not going to do any of that. Just press the button, subscribe, follow our content, follow us whenever we have Wyomissing Spartans on the air here on YouTube on Jerry Gelliff Media. So thank you all for listening in. We'll see you Wednesday on the Exeter Sports Network. But best of luck to the boys tomorrow night against Fleetwood. And then when we do have playoff basketball, we will let everyone know exactly what we are able to cover. Because right now we have a whole slew of teams entering the playoffs here. Jerry picked out well. We're going to have Exeter playing in districts, most likely. Exeter boys playing in districts. We'll have Wyo boys playing in districts. We'll have Wyo girls playing in districts. We have Muhlenberg boys playing in districts right now. So a lot of exciting times up ahead, and we'll see exactly how much we have to cover. So stay tuned to all the social media channels and follow Jerry Gelliff Media wherever you can find him. Facebook, Twitter. I don't think he's on Instagram. Facebook, Twitter. Be sure to watch there for exactly when we will have some playoff basketball coming your way. But other than that, thank you all for tuning in. Have a great night. We'll see you Wednesday on the Exeter Sports Network.
Thank you for joining us on the Spartan Sports Network for Wyomissing Boys Basketball. Brought to you by the new Birdies Inn at 5 Points in Exeter, Mortgage America, and Goosehead Insurance, the Coley Insurance Group. Join us all season long for exciting Wyomissing Boys Basketball here on the Spartan Sports Network. This has been a presentation of Jerry Gelliff Media. Good night.